The revision of the chapter birth, I'll be testing it today. So let's just revise it once again before we have the test. Okay, if you remember the chapter. Now here, this chapter, it talks about a very extraordinary experience in the life of a young doctor. What's the name of the doctor? Dr. Andrew. And he was personally in a very upset mood. He was not in a very positive frame of mind. And when he comes back home, he sees Mr. Morgan, Mr. Joe Morgan, they're waiting outside his home. And why was he there? Because they were expecting the first child after so many years of their married life. And they had a lot of hope and expectation that the doctor would be there helping them out in this situation. The doctor, he is quite upset, and he does go there to the Morgan's home. And so he's very, surprised also to see the expectations that the family members they have. Mr. Morgan, he's there and he's just pacing outside the house. And the mother there, Mrs. Morgan's, so she is also there, an old lady. And she, in fact, tells the doctor that they have a lot of hope and, from the doctor on this child, because they've been waiting for this child for so long. And Susan Morgan at the time, she's absolutely, even though in spite of her condition, and she has said that she does not want any anesthetic to be given to her because she don't want anything happening to the child. Now, as the time progresses and when the child is born, the doctor is very shocked to see that the child is still born. Right? So he notices that and he's very disappointed because he feels that he has let this family down, right? So look at them, all of them there, looking at him with lots of hopes and expectations, and he feels that he has not, given them that happiness which this family deserves. And by the time he turns his attention to the mother, because at the time both of them are there in a very serious condition. The child is stillborn. He's wondering what he can do about it. The mother is there unconscious. She's not aware of the sadness which is there around her. And in the meanwhile, while he's giving attention to the mother, Susan Morgan, the midwife, what does she do? She wraps the child with a newspaper and keeps it under the bed. It's a boy, and perfectly boy and beautiful child, and the midwife, she wraps and keeps him under the bed. And the doctor, he gives the injection to Susan Morgan so that she would be revived and she'll come out of that painful condition of hers. And after that, he turns his attention to the child, and he's very shocked to see that what has the lady done. And he remembers an incident which he has read in the Samaritan. Gitesh, you can listen to me. You can refer to your books later on. Okay? So I'm going to say the same thing only. Don't worry. Okay? Yeah. I've been saying the same thing for so many times. Right? So he turns his attention to the child, and he remembers about an incident which he had read in a journal, and there he tries the same method. So what does he do? He asks the midwife to bring these containers of water, and the hot water and the cold water. And what does he do? He picks out the baby from under the bed, and the child is there absolutely lifeless in his hand, the head hanging towards one side, and he's very disappointed to see that. And he feels that the family is going to be very upset, and he tries to, revive, or he tries to repeat what he had read. So he juggles the child between the hot water and the cold water, puts the child in the hot water basin and puts the child in the cold water. So he keeps on doing that. He keeps on juggling that. He keeps on shuffling that. And after half an hour, the whole room is in a mess. There's water, dripping everywhere. The newspaper's soggy. The doctor, his sleeves all wet because of the efforts that he has made. He's sweating also. And he does not know what to do because he is putting his best and he wants the child to come back to life. And the nurse is there just standing, the midwife, and she's quite surprised. What is this person doing? And she tells him again that the child is stillborn. It's going to be very difficult. Like, and she's very surprised to see what he is doing. So the doctor, even he feels after half an hour of trying, he feels that no, his efforts have gone in vain, his efforts have gone futile, wasted, and he is also ready to give up. So he does just try a few more frantic efforts. He rubs the child with the towel, presses the chest there, the little child is pressing the chest, and all of a sudden it seems as if as the chest starts moving, the child starts breathing, and he's very like surprised. And yes, what happens, he keeps on rubbing the chest and he keeps on rubbing the back, and the child starts crying, and he's so happy to hear that sound. And it is as if all the anxiety and all the pain that and all the desperation that he had is just vanished, right? And the nurse is surprised, the old woman is surprised, and Susan is still there unconscious, and she's not aware of all the things that have happened, this miracle that has happened around him. And at that time, the doctor, he is also quite relieved that he was able to live up to the expectations, or he was able to at least give the happiness that they deserved. And he gives the child to the midwife and he leaves the room. And as he's going outside, he has a cup of water and he feels that I have done something real at last. So earlier he was helping, he was an assistant to a doctor. Now he has handled something independently, and that too something so challenging, something which was very, very difficult. And in that whole situation, he kept his presence of mind, right? He remained calm, he remained alert, and he thought out of the box. He did not only think about what he has done in his text, but he also recollected some incidents that he had read about. So he was able to keep his mind calm and focus on the situation at hand. And yes, considering the fact that he was quite upset that evening, he's had a disappointing evening with his friend, and he's had a, like he's talking about that, how his personal life is also a little upset at the moment. And he has this belief, so everything has been discussed, that how he talks about marriage as a very idyllic situation, and he wants to have a happy life with his girlfriend. And but that evening he was disappointed and he was in a very upset frame of mind. Now here when we discuss this chapter, yes, it is about the presence of mind of the doctor that saved the situation. Had the child been left at the hands of the midwife, it's quite possible it would have been a different story with a tragic ending, right? Naturally, the midwife would not have paid so much of attention, or would not have tried to save the situation. So when we do discuss about the medical profession, we do tend to think sometimes that the doctors are there, right? They are humans, they have their personal life, they have their problems, they have the family. And sometimes, even in the most critical situations, they attend the patients, forgetting that they have a problem at home or they have a problem in their life. And this is about the dedication and the devotion of the doctors that we talk about. Secondly, it is not only in the medical field, it is everywhere where you have to think out of the box. In an emergency, in an unusual situation, sometimes you have to go beyond the text. What was taught to you theoretically, what you have done regarding that kind of situation, especially when you are in certain professions. So you have to really think out of the box and handle the situation at hand, maybe in a manner that is different. And yes, when we do put in our heart and mind and we really have that determination to solve the situation, we will always come up with a solution. And that is why we notice so many changes happening around us. So if we continue on the same path for years and years, there will be no development, there will not be any changes. So if we are there so determined enough, and maybe yes, that I can do things differently, I can do it in a different manner, my approach to the situation, that is what changes the whole outcome. So sometimes, yes, we have to look at the situation in a different manner. So instead of just giving up, there could be possibly a solution to that situation. And this is what this chapter deals with. Not only does it deal with the miracle here of saving the stillborn child, not only does it deal with the presence of mind of the doctor, how he thought differently, how he acted differently. Not only does it deal with the difficult situation the doctor was presented with, he had these people there in his family having a lot of hope and expectations from him, right? And yes, how he did not let his personal life, his personal problem to overcome his situation. First of all, he was barely interested. You know, when he came to the Morgan's home, when Joe Morgan was there waiting outside his home when he came back, so he was not showing much of an interest. So he was just kind of drowsy also, and even the mother did not want him to leave, and that's why she offered him a cup of tea and one, so that the doctor would not leave. But he was quite lethargic, and he felt that if he went back home, and then he might not come back again. So he stayed there, and throughout the whole scenario, throughout the whole situation, and made sure that the child was given back to the parents in a hale, hearty condition. So there was nothing the problem with the child. It was because of suffocation. That is what he could assume by looking at the condition of the child, that is the asphyxia he talks about, which is because of suffocation, lack of oxygen. So he tries to give artificial respiration. He tries to revive the child and bring happiness to the family who has been waiting for a child for a long, long time. So it is a very important aspect of life that we have dealt about in this chapter. Okay? Right? Any doubts? Nothing? Anyone? Yes? Online students? So this chapter you're going to read thoroughly for your test today. Now next is, let's come on, start off with the writing skills. We have discussed letter of inquiry in enough detail yesterday. Yes? And we have also done placing an order. Yeah. So now we're going to discuss today, we're going to discuss cancellations and complaints. So take out your notebooks. Let's do a few writing skills. And even though I'm rubbing it, it's a reminder for you all, please send your travel logs, please send your internal assessment at the earliest possible date. Now, letter of complaint and letter of cancellation. It is not necessary that if you are complaining about something that you are cancelling. It can be two separate letters also, right? So sometimes it could be just complaining about the quality of goods and cancelling, right? Okay. And or it could be just simply because it's not because of a complaint, but it is because not about the goods here, but because about the the delay in the delivery or any kind of thing. So a cancellation. Okay, right? Clear? So let's start off with here the complaint. It could be about any kind of complaint. You can have the complaint regarding the services. What kind of services? Like you had for the catering, your services, right? For a holiday you went, those kind of services. It could be on traveling here. So your complaint, we love to complain. We keep on complaining all the time, isn't it? This is not good and this is not nice. But the problem is that when we have to officially complain about it, very few people come forward to do that. Yes or no? Yes. So here it is now about your services. It could be about any appliances that you have, your household appliances, complaining about them, right? So cancellation, it would be, cancellation is you've made a booking for some event, function, but because of unforeseen circumstances, you will not be able to host that event or conduct that event. So you are making a cancellation, right? Regarding, it could be about goods, and here you had placed an order and you had given a stipulated date and time, right, Jatin? What's funny? Must be something very funny. That's why he's laughing alone only. Gitesh, you too. Okay. And the goods that you had placed, and you had given a stipulated date and time, but they were not delivered at the time. So you are cancelling. Sometimes like you order your food also, right? You place an order online, when your Zomato does not reach on time, and you sometimes get very frustrated and you cancel that order. It happens or not? Yeah. What? क्यों नहीं होता? Amazon हो जाता है cancel, Zomato is not? Maybe you are there, yes, sometimes it gets so late and so delayed and they keep on, postponing things on the other. It has happened, that you have to come and pick it up, or we don't have any person to send. And so it happens, right? So of course it can be cancelled. Or you have a complaint regarding the delivery and thing. And nowadays we get instant feedback also. So anything that you have a video call also. So immediately you get that rating now. So instant feedback is there so that people can feel that they can improve their services, right? So it is there. If we have a reason to complain about, then we should tell what is the shortcomings that we found, so that they are given a chance, right? Now, once again here, a very important thing, when you write a letter of complaint and cancelling, what we have to remember is the tone of our language, the manner in which we write. It has to be polite, formal, right? And you must not, express your anger. Oh my God, you did this to me, and you wait and watch, right? Yeah, no dhamkis at all. We're not going to do that. So we are going, just bring it to their notice and tell them you're very unhappy. And in today's world, when we are their business, it's a very small world. So of course, because we might be dealing with them again in the future, so we should always maintain that peace and harmony. Secondly, nobody wants that people should complain about their services. Everybody does the best to satisfy their customers. But still, sometimes, things do go wrong and we get a reason to complain. Now, when you start writing a letter, you all know the format of the letter. I don't have to tell you that again and again, right? So subject is to complain about the quality of goods, to cancel the booking for your anniversary celebrations or whatever arrangements you had made, right? And now here, for your complaint, one thing very, very important is, once when you start with your content here, give your introduction, give the reference. Reference is that you have placed an order, there is certain a letter number or a reference number which you have to give. You're making a cancellation also, which goods, which letter, any kind of reference which is there, your memo number or something would have been given to you. That is your order which you had placed. So you will give that, right? Then you talk about in the next paragraph, let us discuss the nature of complaint. What could be the complaint? So like here, you made a booking here. So give the reference that we made a booking for, say, the 5th of February, but, right? So that there's a reference. Now, what could be the nature of a complaint? Let's come to complaint first, then we'll do the cancellation also. Like, so any complaint, let's say regarding the catering, what could be the complaint? What could be the complaint? Regarding the quality of the food? Yes. Could be regarding the services, that, yeah, there were not enough space maybe, or not enough attendance, the waiters, they're taking care of the guests. What other complaint could you have? Could be regarding cleanliness. Maybe you're not satisfied with the crockery which was used. You were not satisfied with the cleanliness aspect. So, or what other complaints can you have regarding your catering services? That many changes were made at the last minute. You had asked for certain dishes, or you had asked for certain snacks, and they were not given, right? Yes. So we can talk about, yes, Tushar, absolutely, you can talk about here that safety measures, and in this time when we are supposed to maintain a social distancing, right? So any kind of complaint it could be there. So regarding the quality of the goods, regarding the food that you had asked for, and could be the behavior of the waiters, how they were talking or how they were behaving with the guests. So even if one of them were rude and if your guests were upset, so it is something which is going to spoil your evening. Okay, so we'll just give that nature of the complaint. So when we have complaint, and please do not go on and on and on about the things, I think so 2 and 3 valid complaints are more than enough. And yeah, so if a person, even one complaint is enough to disappoint someone. So if you have 2 and 3, so just imagine how much it is going to hurt that person. After your nature of complaint, what are you going to do? You will definitely provide a solution. How could the situation have been better? Right, because we had informed you in advance that these were the snacks that we wanted and these were the dishes, but in spite of that, they were not prepared, and yes, hope that these things would be taken care of in future. If you talk about social distancing, if you talk about cleanliness, you see that is something which everyone should adapt. So that the reputation of this company is not ruined. Fine. So all these things are there that you have to keep in mind. And once again, your conclusion that with a positive note, you will end. When you wind up a letter of complaint, and don't say that, okay, you'll never hear from me again. I'm not going to come to that place. No, we'll just say that at hope you will make these improvements so that you could maintain the reputation that you have in the city, right? So let us end on a positive note. We should not spread that negativity. And so because mistakes are there, we're all humans, and somewhere or the other, mistakes are bound to happen, okay? So if it is you went on a holiday, you had bookings over there, what could be the complaints regarding that? Yes? What could be the complaints regarding the quality of the room that you had ordered? Yes? Room service, okay. What? Okay, so you had to wait for a long time and the taxi did not come to pick you up on time. Okay, yes. What other complaints could there be? So room service is said about. Even housekeeping, you can also say that even you had told them to clean up the room and you had gone out for an important function or whatever, but when you came back, so that was not done, right? So could be about the behavior, okay, and yes, so all these things, so one by one, you can just discuss about them. And it could be that you had booked 2 rooms, but when you went there because of maybe the rush over there and you were not able to get 1 extra room and you had all to cram up in 1 room, so it was not a very comfortable stay. So lots of complaints are there which you can think about. So traveling, if you had to travel, say you went, you had to travel from Amritsar to Delhi, and on the Shatabdi you faced a lot of problems. So what could be the problems that you faced by traveling? Once again, cleanliness? Yes? That is not something that they can do. If you have someone agitating on the tracks, that is not in their control. So some situations, right, even they can't manage. Okay, you can't say, okay, the fog is beyond their control, right? So we'll Jatin, ट्रेन में थे. So generally in such trains we don't have, like, yeah, so trains which are there, which keep on stopping at every station, you do have, but trains which are there, we don't have so many stops. So there, yes, it could be about, once again, cleanliness can always be there, a point to be discussed about the behavior, about the food quality, right? It could be about your seat which you had booked, right? You were not allotted, that someone was already occupying that seat, and you had a lot of problem there till the matter was sorted out. So you will bring it. And yes, to the concerned authorities, you have to write this letter. So when you do talk about the receiver, right? So make sure here who you are addressing to. So you will have to make the addresses accordingly. Now, if you have, yes, regarding a complaint at home, the nature of complaint is there about your appliances. So it could be a refrigerator, it could be a washing machine. What problems could happen with a washing machine? Okay, good. What? Very, very good, Samyak. That means he really actually knows what a washing machine looks like. Yeah. Because why I said this, because many of you, I doubt if you ever go near it and just see it there, or you think like some magic is going to happen and your clothes are going to get washed automatically. Isn't it? Ki, come to me, the machine is going to say. Right? So very good, Samyak, very good observation. That is very, very nice, right? Gitesh, what? So what could be the nature of complaint? As he said, yeah, the dryer, okay, then the drainage not properly happening. So they could be about the water inlet. Yeah, so okay, fine. So when the passage of time, it could be there, or maybe the panel there, the key panel is not functioning properly. So any kind of nature of complaint it could be. Yes, if it is a new appliance, you will definitely mention that it is still in the warranty period. Okay, if not, you will just say that this is the problem that I've been facing, and want that the technician should come and take a look into the matter. Okay, right? So please, and others, yeah, so it could be, then we come to cancellation. Cancelling, like you had made a booking for a celebration, you had made a booking for a birthday party or an anniversary celebration, but maybe like, yes, we had like at the beginning of the lockdown, so many people had made plans and so many cancellations were made. So it could be some kind of an unusual circumstances. Generally, yes, so it is under very rare circumstances that this cancellation does happen. So because of that, and like you had placed an order for goods, and even after repeated reminders, you waited 1 week for them to arrive and they have not reached. And it's the second week going on, and even then there is no response from the person you had placed an order with. And out of frustration and out of anger, because your time has been wasted, your like you've sent advance money also, so you are canceling because you are not happy with the services, right? Clear? So at these situations, yes. So once again here, when we do write the cancellation here, give your introduction, give your reference, give your nature of complaint. Here, it would be not the solution, but you will politely cancel. And please remember, read the question. Complaining does not necessarily mean cancelling. Right? So when we are cancelling, yes, you can write a complaint also why you are cancelling. So make sure that you read the question very, very properly. Right? Fine.